What's up, everybody? POGCHAMPS 2 is continuing today with Hafthor going up against Connoreats. Hafthor started with the white pieces in the first game, and already one teachable thing here is that both players took out their bishops. And as a general rule of thumb, you want to take out your knight first, just because a knight has more control in the center than a bishop does. So overall, in the opening, a knight is a much more valuable piece when it comes to just controlling the critical squares. Here you see both players taking out their f knight, which can lead to a very nice trap with queen e2, and then once the knight retreats, you obviously have knight to c6, winning the queen here, because if the queen blocks, you take with the knight. And this is a wonderful trap that you could do, but instead Hafthor in this position played knight to f7. It's still a very solid move because you're winning the rook, and obviously this is still in check and this is defended, so it's a very good move, but it's just not the best move in the position. Connoreats blocks with the queen. You can decide to take here and then take the rook. It doesn't really matter. White decides to take the rook first and then have to move his king. So that is the only downside. But then you already have so much material advantage, especially Hafthor. He's probably already closed out the game, especially with this very nice passive-looking move that threatens the knight, which he actually ends up capturing now. And so another little teachable moment is that bishops are very powerful when it comes to just controlling long diagonals. So always try to look at your opponent's bishops and figure out, are they attacking anything? Especially in a passive move like this that lets out the other bishop, there's a big chance that it will be looking at something, so make sure that that thing is defended. And here, sacrificing a lot of material, and this is basically already game over. I mean, there's not even a reasonable chance to checkmate or win material here. White is just in a very solid position and ends up checkmating in a very nice fashion, something you don't usually see. It's just really funny because both of the bishops are kind of doing their part. I mean, this rook is the big factor here, but this knight just coming here to giving a checkmate, it's a very nice checkmate because all pieces are doing something, which is very rare to see. Let's move on to game 2. So Hafthor now has the black pieces, and Connoreats starts with the exact same opening as last time. Both players, again, taking out their bishops first. And now, instead of moving out this knight, he decides to move out the c3 knight. And that's kind of the only difference from the last game. And here he plays h4. It doesn't really have, much meaning, and especially in the opening where you have clear goals and clear priorities, which is taking out your bishops, taking out your knight, castling, you don't really want to be making these pointless moves. Later on in the game, if you don't really have a useful move, maybe this could work, but especially when you have such important things to do in the opening, you want to really focus on them. And here you see the knight traveling over here, trying to put pressure on f7, which is always a weak pawn, and so if the rook ever moves, for example, well, all of a sudden you can even fork the rook and the king. So that's a very powerful piece. And here there's actually an opportunity to trap the bishop once the bishop moves to h5, because now you can play g4, bishop is forced here, and now you have this beautiful h5 move. Bishop has nowhere to go. That's safe, and so you're going to win material. So Connoreats had this beautiful possibility, but instead in this position, he took the pawn here. The bishop can take if you want to just win more material, but instead the rook takes, so that is a little bit of an inaccuracy. But again, it doesn't really matter because in the end of the day, he's saving his bishop and he's just winning material. So Hafthor just has a wonderful position here. You see this weird move because it seems like you're blundering a pawn, but the point is after you take, you always have this very nice, you always have this d3 move, which again unleashes this bishop. And this is actually something that I love to do. Sacrificing the f4 pawn and then playing d3. I love this, for example, in the old Benoni, when white starts with the queen's pawn opening. I love playing f4 and then just having the ability to use my bishop. Obviously, it would be flipped here, but the point still remains where you can always have this plan to recapture with the bishop. And so this is actually a very solid idea that white shows here. And we see this pawn push here from Hafthor, trying to kind of break open the board, I guess, and we see a sacrifice of rooks. This is a pretty hard game to commentate because you'll notice that both players aren't playing with really clear plans. They're just playing moves that, they're playing moves that seem like they don't know what they're doing. So it's a very hard game to really analyze because it doesn't seem like both players really know what they're doing. The queen is sacrificed here, and in this position, there's also this beautiful move. Rather than moving here, you can just take the rook. But the point is, it's already kind of losing for white. So Hafthor just closes off the deal with a couple of checks, wins the rooks, and then plays this beautiful mating idea with this very nice back rank mate. So that's how the game ended, and that's actually how the match ended. So Hafthor ended up winning both of the games, and that is the result from POGCHAMPS 2. Make sure you guys subscribe if you want more of these videos so you know exactly what happened in the matches, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.